Swapping your engine is one of the biggest and scariest sounding jobs you can do to a car. But is it really that hard, or is it something that a beginner could do? Luckily today, I found a beginner.
Sup?
So James insists that he handle the pulling of this engine on his own, so I'm gonna be here for guidance, the bumpers to his bowling ball. I've pulled a few engines in my day, so along the way I'll be giving him and you guys some tips and tricks to make sure this thing comes out without any issues. We're gonna get this engine out the right way, but can James do it by himself? Probably, I think. I hope.
Yeah, I can do it, dude. Again, we got 2 days scheduled for this. I'm gonna give everybody a day off. Be done by lunch.
Big thanks to Ridge Wallets for sponsoring this episode. You know, when it comes to wallets, I like to, excuse me, kind of filming a spot here. Anyway, wallets. I didn't buy that. No, I didn't buy that. My money, it's gone. Big thank you to Ridge Wallets. Job?
Nolan, what day is it?
November 25th, 2020.
Perfect. In a few seconds, you're gonna lose everything. You gotta listen to me. You gotta get rid of that typical old leather wallet and you gotta replace it with one of these.
Whoa, so light and sleek. But how does it protect me?
Access denied.
Well, unlike those typical leather wallets of the 90s, this wallet is built with RFID blocking technology to protect you from digital pickpockets like that guy.
Wow, thanks, Future Job. You really saved me.
Anytime, Nolan, but I think we can save a lot more people if we tell them to go to ridge.com/donut and use code DONUT to save 10%. But you gotta hurry because time is of the essence. Speaking of time, I got James and a pizza to save. I'm out of here.
Waka waka.
What? What's wrong? The starter went.
Is that why we're swapping it?
No, well, we're swapping it because every time it gets parked, something else breaks when I go to drive it again. And we're at the point now where I would have to pull the engine to fix all the stuff that's wrong with it, but 20 valve 4AGEs have independent throttle bodies from the factory. Apparently it's a pretty easy swap and they're relatively cheap. So win-win-win, we're just gonna replace it with a fresh motor. Great.
Now there's only one thing left to do.
Let's get this engine out of here, boy.
All right, so let's talk about it. Why might you want to swap your engine? I mean, there's a lot of reasons that you might want to. Maybe you're looking for more power, baby. Or maybe you just want to swap some steezy engine into your ride. Or maybe your current engine needs a lot of work done to it, like James, and he just wants to cross off the entire list at once. No matter the reason you're thinking about an engine swap, it can seem scary. Trust me, I've been there, I know. But it's really, in most cases, not that bad. Especially in the case of the AE86, this thing should come out with really little to no problem, I hope. The big thing is being prepared and making sure you have the right tools.
Might as well get a couple.
Now the truth is, even if James and I's processes don't really match up, it's probably gonna be fine because the order in which you do a lot of this stuff doesn't honestly matter. You just need to get it done. But I'll tell you the order in which I would do things. First, I like to get some big stuff out of the way. Remove the exhaust, remove the drive shaft, drain fluids, drain all your coolant, remove any obstructions from the engine like the air intake or anything that connects the engine to the chassis, like power steering or the throttle cable. Then it's time to disconnect your electrical connectors. Then once all your electrical connectors are disconnected, that's pretty much it. You then have to remove the engine and transmission from the vehicle. So it's time to pop the engine and transmission mounts, use your cherry picker, and pick that engine up on out of there. In the case of the AE86, we are going to be pulling it with the transmission attached, but your mileage may vary depending on what you're working on. So that's the basic rundown for us. It's really not that many steps. It's just a lot of elbow grease you gotta put in. And I think James is gonna be able to put it in. It's a little scary, but I think we're gonna make it.
I don't know if you guys have seen High-Low, but my style, I'm more of a morale guy. You know what I mean? I'm there for the jokes. When you need a helping hand, your boy will step in, but for the most part, I'm goofing off.
But today, the roles are reversed, bud. I'm gonna be doing cartwheels all day and other such goofy shit. And Pumphrey's gonna be doing the work, getting the knuckles good and greasy. I can't wait. I think this format's gonna work well for me.
There's some things that you literally physically cannot do by yourself. Show me a guy who can take an entire hood off by themselves. And I will hire him to do this next time.
There's already a wrench in my hands.
That's not my fault, that's your fault, man.
It's really important to be organized. Know where you store your hardware, know where you're keeping it, where it goes back. If that means putting it in the hood so you can't forget, putting it in a Ziploc bag and labeling it, putting it in a cup, or whatever you gotta do, label your hardware, organize yourself, and everything will go much more smoothly than it would otherwise.
You see, it's really important to remember where you put your hardware. You go to put your car back together, you don't have your hardware, you're gonna be kicking yourself, you gotta go. So like one trick is to put it in the hood, or you can put it in some Ziploc bags and label them. Where did he put them? Over here? Yeah.
To that double layered spot? Yeah, but
He can't help himself. He has to jump in.
hey, let the car down.
Okay.
Nice and slow. Okay, all right.
Now that the car is up, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna pull the drive shaft off and the back of the exhaust. I'm so confident that I can do this all by myself. I'm gonna up the stakes a little bit. Every time I ask Job a question, I pay him $1. Every time he has to turn a wrench, I have to pay him $10.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You're telling me every time you need me to turn a wrench today,
Yeah,
you can pay me $10
yeah.
and $1 to ask me a question?
Every time I have to ask you a question, I give you $1.
I'm walking out of here with money.
This shit's gonna fall right on my face. All right. Rear section of the exhaust officially out. RSOEOO. For some reason, this bolt is smaller. Did I forget a bolt up there? All right, I'm calling in a hand. But this isn't advice. This is just so I don't smash my noggin.
It's not disconnecting from back here?
Yeah.
The old ready check after it's down?
Nice.
Hell yeah, the old two-piecer.
Exhaust out, drive shaft out, engine out, I'd say in 10 to 15 minutes, boys.
You're doing great, James. Keep up the good work. I'll be over here. This is my favorite episode yet.
So we're done with the back of the car, time to jack up the front of the car, drain some fluids, take the rest of the exhaust off because I couldn't get under there, start disconnecting stuff in the engine bay, and pull this guy out. My engine's a boy. And these guys have been working so hard, they shoot Money Pit like almost every day of the week. So as the OG, I'm gonna give those boys a day off. I'm denting the shit out of these doors. It's dumping out. You want to throw a bucket under there? Whoops.
When you're doing any of this kind of stuff, you gotta be prepared for spills. It's gonna happen. So having some rags on hand, some brake cleaner, all that's helpful. But also draining the transmission first would have prevented this.
I'm still doing it. I didn't say I would be clean about it.
I mean, it actually doesn't look too bad. You can see through it.
Yeah, it doesn't even look too bad. You can see through it. Let that drain, then we drain the coolant, then we start pulling engines. The last of the fluids. Oh, this is some dirty stuff. Oh, gross. Oh, gross.
Oh God! What the?
You guys get a mop?
Nope. Got some of it in there.
Sure did. Sure did. You gotta make some messes, you know? You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Is that $10?
So the coolant's out, engine oil's out, and the transmission fluid is out. Now he's probably gonna go topside and start fiddling with some things in the engine bay. You're probably gonna wanna pop them radiator hoses off before
I do that.
Yeah.
That's free. That's what you call free advice.
That's right. I was thinking about trying to wrench some money out of you, but figured I'd just give that one to you. All right, that didn't count. James doesn't have to pay me for this help. I'm just helping him because he can't be down there and up here at the same time. So this is just good friend stuff.
A lot of stipulations in this game.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna charge my guy $10 to have me help him pop a hose off the radiator.
It got in my mouth. Nolan, can you get me like a glove or something? Rubber bands? Or maybe just the plug thing. Radiator. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wow.
Out.
Wow. Beautiful. Look at all this room for all the activities.
Radiator officially out. Woo. Into. Okay, moving forward, I'm gonna check stuff more before I get too excited.
Hey, that's learning, you know?
All right, so now that we're getting into the electrics of the engine bay and we have stuff that I need to save for my new harness, I think I might start racking up some questions. But I'm predicting at least 9 to 10
$10 worth of questions?
worth of questions, yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna eat tonight.
Maybe we start on that side. This is the part I'm really nervous about. All right, Jeb, got a question.
What's up?
What's everything you would disconnect?
Well, I would disconnect.
That's one question.
That's one question. What's everything you would disconnect? How do I take out this engine?
Yeah.
So I would disconnect everything that connects to the engine and then to the chassis so that this thing can just come right out. And as you do, you can just put some tape on the connectors on each side and label them with a number or a letter or a drawing just to get it out of your mind so you can freely disconnect stuff and then know what it went to.
Nolan, you want to assist me with the tape? Oh shit, is that an N or a 2? In it!
Nice organization, James.
Thanks, Juby. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Getting less connected.
Yo, spaghetti coming out. We're deciding on whether or not he should take off the headers to take the engine out. Looks like the headers might run into the subframe as we try to pull it out, but they also might not.
Let's pull it off.
Let's pull it off. Well, that'll definitely work. That's it, she's gone.
All right, boys, hurry up.
Looking pretty close.
I'm gonna wash my hands, take the shifter out, and unhook the ECU. And then we're gonna pull this whole harness out through the firewall.
Which is not necessarily necessary for removing an engine. That's just a thing we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that is... An engine harness. Snake King. So everything under the car is done. Everything is unhooked. Engine harness is out. The only thing holding this engine in are the mounts. Then we're gonna put the jack under the trans, remove the trans mount, remove the engine mounts, pull the engine out. Bing, bang, boom. Boys get a day off.
All right, so James has probably wisely paid me $10 to install the engine lift onto the engine. This is kind of one of those places where you can get hurt if you don't know what you're doing. So we're gonna go through it together and do it safely. First thing we gotta do is get the engine attached to the crane. So we've got this fancy doodad here, and this is a leveling bar. You can see we've got a handle here, and depending on which way we thread this, kind of changes the balance point and it'll tip the whole load one way or the other. So that means we need to get this thing attached to the engine at 2 points at least, and I'm gonna go with the front and the rear so that when I adjust this bar, it tips the engine and transmission like this. Pretty much every engine ever has a spot that it's meant to be picked up from. So we could just use the hook and hook right to that and then work this thing out, but I'm gonna take the hook off and replace it with well, one of these L brackets that is on the bar. And then that's pretty much it. We'll use the bolts that are already in the engine because I trust them to be strong enough. And that's about it. Then we'll start jacking this thing up and we'll just work it out. Just being careful the whole time and making sure you go slowly rather than rushing it and busting, well, your feet or your body or anything.
Or your engine or your transmission or the front end of your car. There's a reason that this is so daunting, and I am glad to have my friend Zach here with me.
Now this can get a little tricky, especially when you have a cherry picker like we have. It's really not that long. The boom is not that long. So you can see this is a pretty short front end car and our chain is already pulling this way because the boom isn't quite long enough to sit over top of the engine. So the problem there is that when we go to lift this thing, it's gonna wanna pull the boom itself into the front of the car. I'm gonna be pulling back on this whole unit while Pumphrey operates it. I'm just trying to keep it off the bumper because this thing's kind of short, and if I don't pull back, it's gonna wanna pull this thing into the bumper. We don't wanna do that. Nolan's gonna be down there operating the jack and just kind of doing whatever we need him to do to help this thing come out. We're gonna go slow, we're gonna take our time and look as we go, make sure we don't mess anything up, and it should come right out.
Wait, do we gotta pull these bolts out?
Which ones?
The mounts?
Nah, they're good.
We only get one shot at this, people. Let's do it.
As soon as I start pulling and you start picking up, I'm stuck.
All right, I'm picking up.
And then there we go. As soon as we get out of the mounts, we'll come forward, which means we should be good up here. Great news.
We're about to hit firewall. We got
Okay.
some space.
So then I'd start tipping. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, boy, yeah, boy.
Tip the girl.
Tip this gear.
Okay, that looks nice. Now let's start picking up. Keep it on. Beautiful. Now you should be able to move back a little bit. And then Nolan, you should be okay to not have to do too much work.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude. All right, let's go. Well, James, you caught a fish.
Got the motor out. That is a car without a motor. Thank you. It was so much easier than I thought it would be. It's such a daunting thing. Once we had made the decision that I would have to rely on my own brain, and I did, it was relatively straightforward. You know, I did maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of research last night, figured out what I was supposed to do, and then I just kind of did it. And I got stuck every once in a while, but that's a time when you can call a friend. Up until the very end, most of those questions and everything could have been taken care of with a phone call.
100%, or just a Google or whatever. I mean, everything you ran into here was no big deal. The fact is there's just 100 no big deals that you gotta do before this happens.
Right.
So, there's a lot of work, a lot of elbow grease, but none of it's that difficult. So, as you may have noticed, we removed an engine and now this AE86 has nothing in it. Don't worry, we're gonna put an engine back in it, but before we do that, I got a turbo kit for that car. So we're gonna do that next. Starting next week, we are turboing the Miata finally. We're gonna make some boost, and I hope it makes you guys happy. So thank you guys for watching it. We had a great time making it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Zach Job, and follow James at James Pumphrey, and follow Donut at Donut Media. And I'll see you next week.